Hey everybody, this is Mr. James. In this video we're going to talk about using patterns and how we can use algebra to solve and find out some additional information about some patterns. So let's hop right into it. In this, pretend that Mr. James is going to build a tower. He's going to build the tallest tower, the tallest skyscraper the world has ever seen. So how's he going to do that? Well, any skyscraper, okay, there's the ground, any skyscraper has to be built on a foundation. Okay, foundation's this kind of cement piece that goes below the ground, so you can build it. So for Mr. James's tower, he's going to have 4 giant blocks underneath the ground for his foundation. Okay, that's what the building is going to go on top of. So we're starting with 4 blocks. Then for every story, for every floor Mr. James puts on his building, he's going to need 3 more of these tiles. Pretend each one is maybe a story or a floor tall, and there's you. Okay. So now when I have 1 story, I now have 4 original blocks plus 3 more. And I'm going to continue to add 3 more for every single story that I have. So another 3, and another 3, and you get the idea. We keep going up, 3 for every story. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is write some sort of equation, some sort of expression to express what's going on in the situation. The first thing to do, even before that, is to write down what are our variables. So what are the 2 things that are varying here? Well, the number of stories is varying, the number of floors is varying, and the number of squares that I use is changing. Okay, squares are blocks. So I've got blocks are changing, and the number of floors are changing. And I'm going to abbreviate those by calling blocks B and floors F. And now let me write an explicit rule for what's going on here. Well, I start with 4, and then add 3 each time. So that means I'm starting with 4 and adding 3 blocks for every floor I go up. So let's see, if I take the number of floors, multiply it by 3, and add 4, that'll give me the total number of blocks that I need. So this is my explicit rule here. 4 plus 3 times F equals B, right? Well, it's nice to have a rule, but it's really useless unless you use it, right? So let's use this rule. We're going to use it in 2 different ways. Here are the 2 questions I want to know. All right. How many blocks for, I don't know, let's go big. Let's go 100 floors. We're making a big skyscraper here. And the other one is, I actually don't have that many blocks. If I only have, let's say I only have 200 blocks, how many floors? How many floors can I get? What can I do there? How many floors? Let's try and answer these questions in order. So let's start with how many blocks for 100 floors? Okay. So what I'll do for this is I'll start by writing down, I'm going to go to a separate sheet here, okay? Start by writing down my equation again. Remember, it's 4, your initial amount, so let's label that. So you're starting with 4, plus 3, so that's per floor, 3 blocks per floor, times the number of blocks, or sorry, the number of floors, sorry, equals the total number of blocks. Okay, there's our formula from before. And so they tell me that I have 100 floors. I'm going to write F equals 100. And I'm trying to figure out what B will be. I need to figure out how many blocks in for 100 floors. So to figure that out, all you need to do is take 100 and substitute in here for F, and then evaluate the equation. So I'll do that right here. 4 plus 3 times, don't put F, instead put 100 for 100 floors, equals B, because we don't know how many blocks we need. And now we just can evaluate this. 3 times 100 is 300. Bring down the 4. 4 plus 300 is 304. Okay, so if I were going to make a tower that was... Okay, if I were going to make a tower that was 100 floors tall, I would need 304 blocks. Alright, that makes sense. Now for the second question. This question is a little different. It's going to start the same way. Let me write down my expression, or sorry, my equation. Okay. And for this one, it says, remember, if I only have 200 blocks, how many floors can I make? So again, I don't know how many floors I can make, but I do know that I only have 200 blocks. So just like before, I'm going to substitute 200 in for B, not F, because I don't know how many floors. That's unknown. So let's write that down here. 4 plus 3 times F equals 200. All right. Well, I can't just evaluate this like I did the last one, right? There's an F and there's stuff all over. How do we figure out what F is going to be? Well, we do exactly what we did before when it came to solving an equation. We look at this and say, okay, what is the outermost operation here? Okay, what do I need to undo on this side? And the answer is you've got to undo this 4. Right now it's plus 4, so to undo that, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay. 4 minus 4, let's cancel each other out, and we're left with 3F equals 200 minus 4, which is 196. Okay. Now, what's the next thing I have to undo here? Well, there's a 3 times F, and I need to get F by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. And if you want to grab your calculator, you can. Alright, and if you do, let's see, 196 divided by 3, you get 65.3 floors. 65.3 floors. And can we have a 0.3 of a floor? Not really. So we would say, really, it's 65 floors. Because we can't really have a third of a floor. Okay? So now what I want you to do is try pausing the video and answer these questions again for a different kind of tower. Okay? Imagine a tower now where it has a foundation of 5 blocks. It's got a big foundation of 5 blocks right at the bottom. And for every floor that goes up, you need 2, that's floor 1, 2 additional blocks. That's floor 2, that's floor 3, and that's floor 4. So that's the kind of thing that I want you to make and then answer the following questions. Okay? Number one, write the variables. Okay? What does B stand for? What does F stand for? Number 2, write an equation. Just like I did, write an equation. Okay? With B and F, some sort of explicit rule. Number 3, just like I did, how many blocks for 100 floors? And how many floors can you get with 200 blocks? Okay, so those are the 4 things I want you to do. Okay, there's your list. There's another look at the picture. Let me know when you get done with it. Raise your hand if you have questions.